Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actor Noah Lamanna with me. So welcome, Noah.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. And I have to ask this before we really get started because I'm not sure, but I think so. So I think, and it's been a while, like a while, I think maybe you had an appearance on this show called Copper.
Oh my God. Why do
Yeah,
you know that?
because I love that show. I love that show. And in my head, I kept saying, I think, but I wasn't sure because that's been like, I don't know, 15 years ago.
No, you didn't recognize me from Copper.
No, that when it's no, it was just the name. Yeah, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that
Wow.
that I've seen you on that. But yeah, there you go.
That was my first, besides a non-union commercial that never aired. That episode of Copper was my very first job.
And you're pretty young in that.
Yeah, I was 20.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Wow,
good.
no one's ever asked me about that before.
Well, I thought it was a really good show, and I can't even remember what I was watching that on because it was is an English show, I think, right?
Uh no, I don't think so. I don't remember what platform.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
this
I'm
was
not
it. That
sure
was
either, but
before we even had all these streaming
I think so. Yeah, and it had
services. So like
because it had a couple seasons, I think.
it did. Yeah. I think it was like on television proper.
Yeah, oh,
If
it may have
you
been.
remember
Yeah,
television
yeah, it
proper.
may have been
Yeah.
on one of the networks. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
exactly
I
right.
think
Maybe it
so.
was
Yeah.
syndicated, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
That's
it's been so long. I can't
yeah.
remember, but yeah. So that's the first time that I've seen you, even though I don't. It's been too long. I don't exactly remember the episode was something arsenic or something. I think.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's
Uh-huh.
something in arsenic.
Yeah.
I play a teenage sex worker, um, who you know what, I don't remember
There was
the
a
like.
serial killer, right? I think.
I don't know. There was something about cake, like the detective like eats cake and it's poisoned or something. But he's like
Oh, okay.
lecherous and is like interrogating me.
Yeah, he's
Um,
not a good guy.
Yeah, and it's funny. I signed I graduated we're jumping ahead here, but we'll go back.
That's right. We'll back up.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I graduated college when I was 20 and signed with an agency and for a period there when I signed with them, I was getting all like nudity calls and I was like like I said I'm open to doing it, but like why is this the only thing I'm getting? And I asked the agent at one point and she was like, "Oh, you're the only one on the roster who will do it, so we just send them all to you." So
Well, I guess that's one way to get your foot in the door.
listen, yeah, it was a niche. It was like a niche I didn't specifically ask for, but I took it. I didn't mind, but yeah, so in that episode, that was part of it is I open my jacket or my yeah,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
coat I'm wearing or whatever, and I'm topless underneath. And I remember a funny moment in the makeup trailer. I was sitting there topless with these little flower pasties on, and the makeup lady was like dabbing me down and covering me with dirt. And, and I was like, this is a weird job.
Yeah, that's not something that just normal every day happens.
Yeah, yeah.
You just don't have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And
so let me
yeah,
back us up a little bit.
sure. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business, because it's such a difficult business to get into. What made you want to do that?
Well, I started performing very young.
Yeah.
I started dance and musical theater when I was like 7. And then from there, like as the years went on, I just kind of kept adding on more and more dance disciplines and community theater. And by high school, I was very busy taking a lot of different classes
Yeah.
and stuff. So I don't remember a specific point at which I kind of decided that this was going to be the path. It just, was always such a big part of my life that it felt
Yeah.
natural. Um, yeah, I had a few professional gigs as a child, but pretty low key.
Well, at least it introduced you.
Yes, it did. Would you like to hear about them?
Oh yeah, of
They're
course.
interesting stories, actually. um, One of them was for, I think it was a student film, and it also never came out. But I think I was 12, and I played like a drug-induced hallucination of this man's childhood friend,
Oh,
um, who appeared to him in her child body, but spoke to him as if she was like 20. Um,
oh, that's
and
interesting.
yeah, and so I was like a little kid acting like, a 20-something-year-old woman. Um, and there's this scene where we are out in the woods on this like very moldy, soggy couch. And we're like laying together and popping pills. Um, yeah, so that was a weird job also. That was another moment where I was like, this is a weird thing to get paid for.
Yeah,
And
but
then I
not too
also
bad.
I know. I mean, I was having a fine time. It was cold. I didn't like that part, but
Yeah. If I can't handle cold or heat, so
okay.
if you can get me around 70 to 80 degrees, I'm probably okay. But if you go
Okay.
too
See,
far the
I
either direction, I'm out.
I thrive in the heat. I'm when everyone else is like,
That's the dancer in you, probably. You're used to.
I don't know. I connect a lot to reptiles. I think we have a lot in common, and being cold-blooded is one of those things. I really, yeah, when everyone else is kind of dropping from heat stroke, I'm like
Yeah, it's
pretty
not too bad.
comfortable. But yeah, and
I'm a little
I
jealous of
really
that.
struggle in the cold.
I'm a little jealous of that. You mentioned, so you were playing the deceased best friend, right, or childhood friend.
I don't know if she's deceased. I don't remember that part.
Oh, okay, but she's the childhood friend
Yeah,
with that. Well, I was going to tell you a quick story
please.
about me as a
Okay.
childhood friend. All right, so I've I cannot act, but I have been on camera a few times.
Okay.
So I've got a good friend that ran the West Virginia film office,
Okay.
and one of those ghost hunter shows
Hmm.
contacted the film office and wanted a location in West Virginia. Well, so he sent them to another friend of ours who had a house that was built in like the early 1800s and is supposed to be haunted. Well, all of us grew up, in that house. We spent all of our childhood playing in that house. It was not haunted at all, but it did have these stories. So this company comes, and I got a phone call, and they said, we need somebody that can verify that this house is haunted. I was like, oh yeah, that's me. It was definitely
Oh,
haunted. It was not. So so they filmed the episode, and they talked to me about this haunted house. Well, under my name, it just said childhood friend. Mike Wall, childhood friend. That was how I was identified. Well, after that episode, it was on the Sci-Fi Network at the time. It showed for months, like daily, and I got so much kind of exposure just from that. But everybody knew me as childhood friend, and they were making memes about it. Nobody knew my name, just childhood friend. So I always said that if I ever got a role in any show where I could just show up as somebody's childhood friend, like at a bar or something, and they're like, "Hey, have you met my childhood friend Mike?" And that's all I need, and nobody would get it except for my
Somebody would.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they'd be
that
like,
would be an
"Oh,
iconic
yeah."
callback.
They get the callback.
That's incredible.
So I've been looking because that's a, and preferably I wouldn't have any lines.
Sure, silent childhood
Just
friend.
just a guy at a bar.
Yeah.
I could probably sit there and not screw that up.
Drink a beer.
Drink a beer.
Yeah.
Screw that up. Have to be gluten free. I'm celiac.
Oh, I'm also gluten free.
Are you really?
I'm sorry for you. Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I know. I was diagnosed about 30 years ago, and it at that time, nightmare, because nothing was labeled back then.
Yeah.
Awful. Yeah, you probably know. Yeah. It's
I got diagnosed later, so I was lucky but my mom was gluten-free 20 odd years ago. And I remember the single rock hard piece, loaf of bread that you had to throw against a wall to.
Yeah. My mother at that time, she was calling companies to find out ingredients.
Wow.
For stuff that I can eat, because I just couldn't find anything that I could eat. And she was making homemade bread that I could eat that was actually decent, and then eventually she passed me off to my wife, and then she had, I was her problem. And then she had to learn to make the bread, but much easier now though.
Yes, much easier now.
I loved you on Star Trek.
Oh, thanks.
You can kind of tell I'm a little nerdy. Somewhere there he is.
Yeah, I figured Star Trek might come up.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Chief J.
Well, thanks.
It's such a great show, because it's basically a prequel of the original, which is so neat. And I grew up on those, and I love getting to see those characters develop. They were kind of just hinted at back on the original show, but now we're getting to see, all of them get developed. It's been terrific.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not a Trekkie myself, so I'm not, really embedded in the lore of it. But even still, there is a real kind of visceral sense of being a part of something so big, that has spanned decades and, is just such a important franchise to so many people.
That's right.
And has such a massive fan base.
Never even made it, on air originally. And now it's 60 years later and they're still showing new stuff.
Yeah. And it's really, it's political, it's current, it's really cool how they keep it fresh after, however many seasons it is. Yeah.
Did you have to go and watch some of them before the role, or did you just wing it? Did you have to get some of the lore, or did you just kind of go in and?
I did a little bit of research. Yeah. Just to kind of ground myself in what's happening and what kind of species of what everybody is, and what I am. There was a whole conversation of am I a human? I don't, so, I certainly did enough research to kind of ground myself in the world. Yeah.
Well, and it's a terrific cast.
Oh yeah, it's great.
They did a terrific job with the casting, and the reason I've always liked Trek is it's just well written. You don't have a lot of dud episodes. They're all really well written. The dialogue's good. Interactions between people is really well done, and it's topical. They're always kind of on the leading edge, let's say, of whatever is going on in our world.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I do too. And they've done that. The original was ahead of its time, and it's just continued. So I don't know. That's kind of neat. I wanted to mention a show you did that I don't think has made it over to the States yet, but I hope it does. And I'll tell you why. It's called Shelved, which took place in a library.
Yeah.
My son that does the podcast with me, he's a children's librarian
Oh,
during the
wow,
day. Yeah,
cool.
so that's his day job. So I'm really interested in watching that. And we've had a couple of the cast has been on the show, but haven't found it yet over here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess it's I don't know if it's on American streamers.
If it is, I haven't found it yet, but eventually I figure it'll make it over. But that looks like a great show.
It is. It's really fun. It's some of the writers. It's created by one of the main writers on The Office. So it's basically like The Office in a library is,
Yeah,
sort of the elevator pitch of it. Um,
that works for me.
yeah, yeah,
The Office is
yeah.
a pretty good
Say
show.
less. I don't know. Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's really funny. Like it really works.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm hoping that I can find it. It should not be that difficult. Just put it
I
on an app
mean,
somewhere.
and this is the thing of where we're at with, having 500 different streaming platforms. It makes accessing things a bit of
It's a
a,
little more complicated
workaround. Yeah.
than when I was growing up when we had 3 or maybe 4 channels if we were lucky.
Yeah.
You had to use you probably don't know, you had to use the extra dial to get like PBS.
Oh no,
You
I don't know about an
used to
extra
have
dial.
they had the top dial that went like the 1 to 13, and then you had a smaller dial underneath it that went up to maybe 100, and you had
Oh,
to turn it
really?
to channel 33 to get PBS. So that was
Wow.
back in the day, but that's all we got, 4 channels. That was it until cable
Yeah.
came out. So yeah, a little different now. I'm not sure which is better because it was kind of fun. Everybody watched the same shows at the same time, so that's why you
Right.
had water cooler talk. You
Exactly.
don't
I mean,
really have that
that's,
anymore. Everybody watches it on their time, which is
yeah.
better, but you lose a little something.
Yeah, I mean there's a big conversation there, right? About like the social capital of having the connectivity of something that everybody is
Yes,
watching. And obviously, we're in a point in history where people are like epically historically siloed in their,
right.
in their politics and their worldviews and all of that. And part of that is this access to so much niche content that you can so easily watch only the content that speaks to you and your
Right.
beliefs and your values and your interests, which is amazing because it means that there is so much more opportunity to produce that kind of specific
That's right.
content for specific communities. But then, yeah, the other side of that is like we're not talking to each other and we're not even watching any of the same stuff. So like we're living in different worlds, you know?
I mean, that being said, though, Max is trying to bring back the weekly watching.
And
They
I
did that with
mean,
Game of Thrones and the
yeah,
Dragons, and now with Last of Us.
yeah. And it's
Everybody's
working.
talking about it
Yeah,
episode to episode.
totally. And I do like that, even though, you get the itch and you're like, oh, I just want to watch it all at once
Right.
in my bed. Um, it is really fun to have those shows where you get the build up and the conversation and then and it gives you incentive to like watch it that night. Like I
Yes.
missed this last episode of The Last of Us.
Ooh, okay.
I've been watching it on Sundays and I didn't watch it this Sunday, and I'm hoping to watch it tonight. I just didn't have time, but yeah, I'm like itching for it
I know.
to stay
It's
on
kind of
track.
fun
Yeah,
sitting
it
down at a
is.
certain time to watch something.
Totally.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Did you know the show before you got the role? Like, did you play the game?
So I don't game. I'm not a
Yep.
gamer, but I had watched the first season for sure. So I was already definitely a fan of the show.
You're
Yeah.
already hooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't game either. And the reason is I know I would get addicted to it.
Uh,
And I wouldn't have time for anything. So I've always avoided that. But my son has filled me in. So I was anticipating what happened in episode
yeah.
2, but I was hoping it didn't happen.
Listen, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know I didn't know how it was
Oh,
going to happen
brutal.
and how gruesome it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I was watch I watched it just like shell shocked, and then was like staring at a wall for a while afterwards, like unclear of what to do with myself. And I was voice noting the cast, being like, "Are you guys okay?" Like that was
Oh, it was awful.
unreal. Like,
It was
how's everybody doing?
it was on level with like Red Wedding.
Well, exactly, which is so cool because, I was saying to my friends in the cast as well, like, man, this is historic. Like, already the moment it happened, people were talking about, like, this is an iconic, historic episode of television that's like going down in the
Yep.
canon. And I didn't know it was going to be that. Things are I knew about the horde and I knew about that big moment.
Right.
But things are kept very tight. And so there's not a lot of conversation about, the details of things.
That's
And
right.
so I was not aware that this episode was like being built up to be
The episode.
as epic as it was. Yeah.
Well, up to that point anyway. Yeah,
I mean, man, I hope we're not going.
I kept thinking he's doing like Pedro, he's in so many things. And I'm like, oh, he's probably
He's a
not going
busy
to make it to
man.
the end of the season. I was like, it's probably
You
going to
saw it
happen in this
coming.
episode. And then it did not. And right up till the moment, I was still hoping that they would just change it.
Right.
But yeah, and Last of Us, the writing on it's so good. There's been that episode, and then the episode with Nick Offerman from
Yeah,
season one. I mean, those are two of the best episodes I think television wise ever.
absolutely. It's unreal.
Unbelievable.
I mean, Craig Mazin's a genius. Like the writing is unbelievable. He's got a special knack for like uh emotionally abusing
Yes,
you as an audience member.
yes.
And
It's stressful watching. Like you
it's
better watch it on time because you can't binge this one. You got to take breaks.
honestly, yeah, in the first season I needed a minute.
Yeah.
After the fire episode, I was like, you know
Ooh,
what? I'm not good. Like,
no.
yeah, but he has such a knack for um emotionally manipulating you in such a way as to have the most impactful payoff. you know
Yeah.
like in the Nick Offerman episode, I had seen people TikToking about it, and everybody was crying, and I got kind of cocky and I was like, it's a 1 hour episode. Like,
Right.
how?
How good could it be?
Yeah, well, like, how much are they gonna, how connected am I gonna be to these characters
Right.
after one? Like, I'm sure I'll be fine. And I was inconsolable.
Yeah.
I was screaming at the television, like, he's
Oh, it was so
he's gonna
good.
drink it too. It's
Like I knew it while we were watching. I was like, this is
yeah,
like the best thing I've ever watched. It was so good.
honestly. And I mean, there's more emotional abuse coming up.
Oh, I know.
I gotta tell you. There's an
No.
episode that I just reading the script, I cried twice on two separate occasions.
Well, how far
Like,
away are we from that? Is it a few
mm,
away?
no, I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You
I'm a
can't
big
prepare
chicken.
yourself,
I'm
or
a big
it's
chicken. So, a little heads up, then that might help me.
listen, my approach to this show at this point is just go in with your guard up every episode
I think
now,
that's fair.
because you don't know what's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
and, speaking of you know, Kat, I don't think they treated her right.
Thank you.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm just out here trying to,
You told them don't go.
I
Okay,
told
you're
them don't
going,
go.
but don't do this. And they did it anyway.
Yeah, they didn't have to be as mean about it as they were.
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
had a relationship they could have been nicer about.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know?
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you played it so well though,
Oh,
because
thanks.
you could see the emotions on your face. So you're like, oh, there's so much going on there, but you let them go.
I mean, I
It
couldn't
didn't
stop
work out
them.
great for them, but you let them go.
I don't think I could have stopped them, you know.
Uh,
But I will say, they were mean to me, but Bella and Isabella are both very, very, very sweet.
yeah, yeah, I had no doubt.
So I
And so
forgave him in the
good, and
end.
so good in their roles too.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Bella, we've got the whole Game of Thrones thing going on anyway.
Hmm.
Everybody loved her from that,
Yeah.
and they've only gotten better.
Only gotten better. Yeah. Yeah, it was very fun to watch them work. They're just so cool and chill and lovely. It was really nice being on set with them. And it just seems to, I mean, I don't know if it does or not, but it seems to come easy. It
Yeah.
seems to
Yeah, I
be
agree
kind
with
of
that.
second nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just that's talent. I
Yeah.
think it's just innate. It's just there
Yeah. Yeah.
with that.
They just always kind of seem ready.
They really do.
Hmm.
Just I absolutely love Bella. Unbelievable.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so good, and the show keeps you guessing. And I think the part about the show that I kind of like is occasionally there's a little bit of humor, just a little bit, where it's just between the characters. It's like giving you that little break. Even a chuckle can break the tension just a little bit, and I kind of like that. I mean, that's well written.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it also speaks to the relationships of the people on the
Yeah.
show. Like Bella and Pager obviously have like such a
Well,
adorable
and you had that
storybook
time,
friendship.
so
What's
we
that?
didn't see that
Yeah.
5 years.
Right.
But, so all the town and stuff has probably gotten very close in that 5 years, but we didn't see that. So we were catching up at that point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're very, very sweet together. And I think the real life closeness that they have really um increases their capacity to just kind of vibe and joke together. And I think a lot of that comes really naturally, and it comes out of their real honest relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Mhm.
I agree with that. So is your hope to survive the series, or do you want like the awesome ending?
I mean, I'd love to be back.
Because it looked like we were going to lose the town there for a little while.
I know, I know. I mean, here's the thing too. It's like it's not a spoiler that we're gonna see more of Pedro in the season,
Of
because we've
course.
seen him in the trailers. So it's like there's always space for, flashbacks. And
You love the flashbacks.
you gotta love a flashback. Maybe we'll go the direction of Lost, and we'll have some flash sideways.
Oh,
Who
I'd like that.
knows?
Yeah,
I'm not the
yeah.
writer.
Yeah, I actually talked to my stepdaughter, huge Lost fan, and we talked about that they should
Yeah.
do that with some of the characters because you want to know about all of them.
Yeah, Lost was the first show, I think, to kind of cement that
Yes.
conceit. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you watch From?
No.
Oh, you need to watch that one
All
if you
right.
like Lost, because it's like
Oh, is it like Lost
it's
adjacent?
it's like horror Lost,
Oh, interesting.
and it
Okay.
stars Harold. I
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah, that came from Lost. That's and he's terrific in. So yeah,
Yeah.
you should check that one out.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I love Lost. I've watched it a number of times throughout. There was a period in the pandemic where a friend and I made the now very naive choice that we were like, let's just watch the pilot. Like, we won't watch the whole season. Like, let's just like watch the pilot tonight.
Sure.
Like, whatever, who cares? And then obviously it ended up we rewatched the whole series. And I used to have lost dreams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Anytime I like go back through the seasons, I have dreams about having to get back to the island. It's all very exciting.
That does sound very exciting.
It is, yeah.
What did you think of the ending?
I mean, there's nothing, I don't have anything more to say about it than anyone else does. It's
Yeah.
like the ending was disappointing. But what I will say actually is that, a lot of people, if someone hasn't seen it, they'll be like, don't bother because because the
Yeah, and
ending
that's a
fell apart,
mistake.
so don't watch it. I agree. I had so many fulfilling hours of living in the adventure of Lost. And if you go in knowing that you're not going to have all your answers, the ending is what it is, just
Right.
accept that now and just enjoy the
Well,
adventure.
and it wasn't a bad ending. It just wasn't quite what we were wanting.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't satisfying.
It wasn't
Yeah.
satisfying enough.
Yeah.
Kind
But
of reminded me of the Sopranos ending. I don't know if you've ever watched that, but that
I
had
haven't gone all the way
similar.
through The Sopranos. I should.
Yeah, you should. It's great, but it kind of has that ending where it's just kind of left to you decide what happened.
Yeah. I mean, they built themselves a very complicated world
They
to
did.
then have to pull all the tie all the strings back up.
It'd be a
It's a big
difficult
job.
job. Yeah.
It's a big job. Yeah.
All
But
right.
I
Next time we talk,
absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you about From. So check that one out.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So my wife loves Jenny and Georgia,
Oh yeah.
and you play Triss on there, and I haven't seen that one. I think I'm going to start watching because she keeps raving about it. But
Okay.
talk a little bit about Triss. What's the role?
Yeah, so Triss is introduced in this third season.
Yep.
Um
Which hadn't come
it
out yet, right? But it comes out
That's
soon.
right, June 5th.
June 5th. Okay.
Yeah. Triss is really cool. They're a skateboarder, they're a tutor. They
Can
I
you
think
skateboard?
well, no. So that was part of the adventure of the show. No, I
No
do not.
thrashing in your past.
No. I I got a little bit of training for the role,
Yep.
which was a new and unique challenge. But I had some really great stunt doubles to make me look cool and do the actual tricks and stuff.
You got to have a
But
good stunt double.
you gotta, yeah, you gotta. There was a point at which there was a bunch of scheduling conflicts because one of my stunt doubles was at the Olympics.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
what, like competing in the Olympics?
I mean, I think so. That was my understanding. I
All
could
right,
be wrong about that.
that's kind of
They were
badass.
either competing or there, with their community
Well,
observing.
that's not terrible either.
Listen, yeah, not at all.
My wife works for Live Nation, and
Oh,
she
cool.
the year we got married, which was 2008, she spent 6 weeks at the Beijing Olympics. She was
Mhm.
running a box office for Live Nation at that time with that. So the 6 weeks, literally, like she was gone 6 weeks and got back, and like the next day we got married. So she abandoned me, right before the wedding, and then I had to deal with all the stuff. And then she just came
That's a
back
good
and
tactic.
yeah, she came back and just dropped right into the wedding. So it was easy for her. But I told her she was worried about me. Back then, still difficult to find gluten-free stuff.
Mm.
So she made me lasagna, like enough lasagna to last 6 weeks.
Aw.
And I was in heaven. I was like, I'm going to eat lasagna every day. It's going to be the best thing ever. And it was for a week.
Right.
But
Well,
then,
she didn't trust that you could make a pot of rice or
no,
something?
apparently not. I ate so much lasagna that I have, to this day, it's been 17 years. I have not had a plate of lasagna since.
Wow. Maybe that was her master plan.
That was it. She doesn't like lasagna. So
Yeah.
I'll get him sick of it.
It's a long game. I respect that.
I did love you on Beacon 23.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's and I watched it admittedly for Lena to start, but that's a really
Sure.
good show.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. You were Dev.
I was Dev, yeah. Um, Yeah, I had such a good time working on that show. I was originally written in just for that first episode,
Well, that means you did
first
good.
for me.
Yeah.
It was that, yeah, it was nice. I received it as a compliment, yeah. And yeah, they wrote me back in for the rest of the episode, which, or the rest of the season rather, which, it's like it was just such a boon to be able to be like, oh, great, I'm coming back for free. It
Yeah.
was, yeah,
I mean, that's
and
not when when you think you're only going to do one episode, that has to make you feel good because you're like,
yeah,
well, if I sucked, I wouldn't be back.
right,
So,
yeah. Yeah, it was really great. And Natasha Mumba, who plays Harmony, we, got really close working on that show. And we've worked together since as well, which is really
oh, that's
fun.
cool.
We, yeah, kind of keep finding
You've run into each
ourselves
other.
together on projects, which I love.
Well,
And yeah, it was a really, really cool show to work on. I got to die twice.
yeah, it's tough to do, on one show, die twice.
I mean, but this is the thing. It's like when the rules of science
That's
fiction,
right.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime something would happen that we, you know, be trying to explain or like you'd be wondering about, that's the answer. It's science fiction. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
There's no boundaries.
Yeah. I think that's why so many of us like science fiction because anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Expands
a
your
couple of the smaller roles,
possibilities.
but on big shows, I'm a comic book guy, so
Okay.
Umbrella Academy, American Gods, those were,
Oh, wow.
they're
Yeah.
coming from comic book people, so I was pretty excited to watch those. But it was cool. That's those type of shows you want on just for the exposure.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, and C,
Um,
you were on C as well.
I was I was on C. Yeah. That was a cool one. I had the wardrobe for me for that
Yeah,
was the big thing. I play a scent chef, which is um the sort of court entertainment. It's somebody who blends um herbs and things together to burn to create interesting scents for
I know it was a neat show. The culture they kind of introduce on that show. It's pretty neat because nobody can see.
right. Yeah, it's interesting in the specific context of the wardrobe that like nobody's dressing for how you look because nobody can see each
Yeah, it's all
other.
functional.
It's all functional, but it's like it's all found objects. So I have this massive headdress that they fit me on with, and it has like tassels of horse hair, like horse tail,
Yeah,
and then and like the wheels of roller skates attached to it. Like it's a found object world entirely, right? Because it's post-apocalyptic. So um that was such a fun, cool
how
element
would you
of it.
do that? Because you're trying it on. You don't really know what you're. I guess you could feel around on it, but you're just putting something on your head. You don't know what it is.
I mean,
I'm just thinking. Yeah, I don't know that I'd do that.
well, but I mean,
Somebody have to tell me, like,
that's the
okay,
world we live in, right?
where's it been?
I think at the point in like future history that we've reached on that show, where's it been is like we're kind of beyond that
You're
conversation,
past that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
I
yeah.
think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I've kind of come to the conclusion that Apple TV does not make a bad show.
Yeah.
Every show I've watched on there has been fantastic.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah, it's not terrible at all. Are you are you a comic book fan?
Not specifically,
Like, did you
no.
have to go back and read some of Umbrella Academy?
No, I didn't, but again, I watched the show.
Yeah, the
So I
show is
was
crazy enough, and they do a pretty good job adapting it from the comics. Pretty close.
Yeah, I haven't read the comics, but I do understand that from people who have that.
Yeah, well, and it's the
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance guy is the one that wrote the comic, like the
Really?
lead singer. Yeah, it's his
Oh, I didn't know
Gerard
that.
Way. I couldn't think of
Right.
it. Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
he created that, which I thought that's pretty neat. You wouldn't
Yeah,
expect that
that's
from a
what a multifaceted
yeah.
person.
That's pretty. It's unfair how talented some people
Honestly, I know.
are.
I'm around those people a lot.
I should mention Ghostwriter too, because we've had a
Another
bunch of
Apple
that cast
TV.
on. That was a great show, fun show.
That was really fun. I got to fly on that show.
Yeah, yeah, you were like a witch character on that.
I was. Yeah. In a big Olympic sized pool.
Yeah. I know. I had I think Tony was the first one I'd had on from the show. So that got me watching it. And then we had some of the rest of the cast on too. It was fun.
It was really
Like
fun.
my grandkids are too young to watch it yet, but I'm probably going to bring it up to them as they get older, once they get
Yeah.
to that age, because I think they'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know, it's imaginative,
Totally.
because I was a reader growing up, and that's kind of what I would do. You put yourself in the book that you're reading, and that show kind of does it for you.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the like original series in the 90s watching it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I didn't think too many knew that it was a remake from the original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember it with the like glowing,
Yeah.
yeah, blob that comes out of the book, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. My oldest was born in the early '90s, so
Yeah,
that
me
was
too.
one that we got to watch. We watched it late, but we got to see it.
Hmm.
But yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Let me see if I think there's another one I wonder. Oh, Ezra.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
get too many gay vampire, but you got it on Ezra.
I think it's an expanding genre, the gay
Yeah,
vampire
yeah,
genre.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gaining
Well, it kind of
momentum.
makes sense because they're very sensual most of the time. There's a
Totally.
lot of sexuality with vampires, so it kind of
Absolutely.
makes
Yeah.
sense, I think. But we've had
Yeah.
Veronica's been on the show.
Nice.
That was who kind of hooked me up with that one. But that was pretty good.
Wow, you've seen everything.
You
You
know,
watch a lot of TV.
I do. I know, and it's probably not a good thing. I spent most of my life with all this useless knowledge, I was like, what am I going to do with it? Nobody cares. Nobody wants to know it. And then podcasting. I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Wow.
there we go. I was like, I've been
Yeah.
training for this my whole life.
Truly, yeah. Honestly, there have been points in my life where I've been like, that they're like, stop watching so much TV, like there's other
There's
things
so
to be
much
doing.
things. There's so many things to do out there. Live your
Totally.
life.
And like there's a balance for sure, but especially in this era of like prestige TV,
Yeah.
like there was a point a couple months ago where Severance, Yellow Jackets, and what was the other big one that was weekly?
Severance, such a great show.
Oh my God, yeah. And they
Yellow
were all
Jacket.
running at the same time, and I was like, you know what? I just love television and I'm gonna just like let that be okay. Let me just like have my
Have your
little
joy.
television treats
That's
and
right.
enjoy them.
I think with me, my kind of what I've done to keep myself from just overdoing it is if I watch something and it's just okay, I move on.
Hmm.
So because there's so much out there, and I just move unless I've got like a connection to somebody on the show or something, then I'll watch.
Right.
But I'll watch an episode or two, and if it doesn't really kind of grab me, then I just move on. Where in the past I'd have probably just stuck it out, just watch it. Kind of like somebody reading a book and they're like, I
Yeah.
gotta finish, but I hate it. I'm like, no, you
Yeah.
don't. Just move on.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much incredible content out there. So, you're gonna find
Is there
something
a
you love.
genre that you haven't got to do that you would like to?
I mean, I would love to do horror. I'd love to
Hmm.
do a Western, which Last of Us is very, Western
It is
adjacent.
very, yeah,
So
definitely.
that's
I'd
really
love
what
to see
kind of,
you in a Western though, like a full.
thank you. Thank you so much. Um, yeah,
Would you be a gunslinger?
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I got
Yeah. Yeah.
They had that movie, I think it was in the '90s with Sharon Stone, where Quick Draw, where it was
Uh,
she was a gunslinger. but there hasn't been enough of those. We need more of the female gunslingers, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it is a little bit limiting in the genre as it is of, I'm non-binary, I play women, but I think there's
What would
typically
you
in those.
think about a role uh, like that? Because that we haven't seen a whole lot of.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I'm trying to be in a Western one way or another, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Typically when it's a proper period piece,
Yeah.
you're obviously getting much more like binary gender representation, except for the singular Calamity Jane in
Right.
every, like every show has their Calamity
The
Jane.
one, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if I could be the Calamity Jane,
Yeah.
um, or, I don't know, I think the queer Western genre is also really kind of, there's a lot there,
You might
you
need to
know.
write some of
I
this.
I know. I know.
Could
I keep hoping
could you
someone will do it
include
for
a
me.
childhood friend?
Yeah. Yes. You'll have a glass of scotch at the
That's
bar,
it. I'd just be
at
at the
the
bar,
saloon.
the saloon.
Sorry, at the
Yeah.
saloon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, at the saloon. It's my childhood friend. And then maybe I could immediately get shot.
Oh, okay. Sure. Like some squib play. We can
Yeah,
write
yeah,
that in for
maybe
you.
I'd be on screen for like 30 seconds.
And then I'll
This is
go,
my
"What? That
childhood
was my
friend, and then
childhood
boom.
friend."
Yeah, not childhood friend.
Yeah. So sad to see him go like
I would
that.
love
He did
that.
not deserve that.
I know you did Let the Right One In, in theater.
Mhm.
So you've done some horror on the theater side.
That's true. Which was sick. It was so fun playing with all the blood, spitting blood into the audience. All the fight scenes, jumping around in trees. It was a very, very fun way to spend, 8 to 10 o'clock every evening. Um,
How many shows a week did you have to do?
8. We had 5 show weekends and 1 day off. So
That's a lot.
yeah, it was a lot. My body was definitely
Yeah,
feeling
did you
it.
have to take a break after that?
Yes, it was a very, very physical show. And I trained, like
Oh
I
yeah.
got a personal trainer ahead of time, kind of anticipating that it was going to be a lot. So I wanted to be sort of in the best shape that I could be going in, which definitely helped. But yeah, it definitely took a toll on me physically. And yeah, I did kind of have to take a beat
Well, yeah,
afterwards.
because physically, but even mentally, I think it would be difficult because 8 shows a week. I mean, that's going to drain you. You have to be on so much.
It was more tiring than I anticipated. I've done a lot of theater, but
Yeah,
that was actually my first like professional
yeah.
show. Um, and I mean, in a way, that was, well, in a lot of ways, that was really exciting, but it was so cool, doing theater and having that be my only actual job, because in the rest of my career in theater, I've like had jobs and then, you go to rehearsal after your
Right.
job, and you go to the shows after your job. So it's so much more intense in that way. So I had this idea that, we'd have the whole day free, and it was in Berkeley at Berkeley
Yeah.
Rep. So, I thought we'd go into San Francisco every day and, sit by the pier and like we're in the
Just
park and
have a
have a,
nice, relaxing day before the show started.
well, so I was kind of ambitious in that regard. And then once the run started, I was like, oh, I can't do anything. Like you have to sleep in because you
Right.
end late. And then you just have to, I had like a 3 hour warm up that I did before the cast warm up that we went into.
Yep.
So, I had to spend the day just like chilling and eating lunch. And then it was like time to go to the
Time to
show.
go.
So, yeah, I almost did no like tourist stuff in San Francisco because
Yeah, you're gonna have to
um
go back and actually just visit.
yeah, it was, what I did see was really lovely. I had a really nice time there.
Yeah, I've always wanted
Uh,
to go to San Francisco. I haven't made it. I'm out in LA quite a bit, so one of
yeah.
these times I just need to go. But yeah, I haven't done it. But I've always heard it's lovely.
It's lovely. I did get to go out and see the old forests, the old growth
Oh
forests,
yeah,
which are so spectacular. Like it's really, really magical. You should definitely do yourself a favor and go see
yeah. I'm gonna
those,
have
like the
to.
redwoods and stuff. And yeah, I mean the produce, like that's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Northern California produce. I mean, I regularly encountered vegetables that I've neither seen nor heard of in my entire
Really,
life, and they like glow with the magic of,
it's just fresh.
it's so beautiful. All the produce there
All right,
is,
I'm sold. I'll make it
yeah.
a priority. I'll get out there. Do you have at some point? Do you have an intention to kind of step behind the camera or to write? Anything outside of the acting?
Yeah, totally. I have a script currently that,
Ooh,
yeah, I wrote a couple years ago, and just kind of sat on, and this year have been sort of taking those initial steps to figure out how to get it made. Um, and it's been exciting. It's been challenging. It's, a whole new kind of realm of figuring out how things work and how to write a budget and,
right.
you know, uh,
Well, that's how you have to start. You do your own, and then hopefully it goes well and
this
you kind of move from there.
this is the thing that I discovered is that nobody knows how to do it until you go through the process of
That's
doing it.
right.
I thought somehow like there was some magical, I mean, some people do go to film school,
Sure.
certainly, which puts you, a step ahead.
Gives you some tools.
It certainly gives you some tools, but yeah, I kept kind of expecting this magical download to happen where I would just like know, how how producing a movie works. And it just never did. And then more and more people in my community started just doing it.
Yeah.
And I was watching them, figure it out as they went. And then yeah, at a certain point I was like, oh, there is no download. You just
You just
have to start the
do it.
process. And that is the process.
I mean, that's kind of like it is with most things. The best way to learn is just to go through all the suffering, while you're learning
Mm.
it.
Right. Is to go in and make the mistakes, which it's like getting a certain mindset where you feel comfortable making those
Yeah.
mistakes and knowing that that's what the process is going to be, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, we were that way with the podcast. We were terrible. We had no clue how to do anything. We were holding a cell phone up to a microphone to interview people. I mean, we were terrible, but we never tried to hide it. We were like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're making mistakes, but we're learning,
Yeah.
and eventually we figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I'm not sure we'd have figured it out if we didn't go through the bad times.
Totally. And I think, people are much less inclined to begrudge you your mistakes than I think we are afraid of. Like nobody's going
Agree.
back to your first episode and being like,
Well, you were terrible.
oh my God, what's this guy doing with his cell phone? Like, and
But
if they are, then like let
they
them,
totally could have because we were just being honest about it. We're like, we know, we're
Yeah.
working on it, we're learning. And then 2020 happened and everybody got on Zoom and that changed a lot of stuff.
Right. Yeah. We all got a little more recording savvy.
That's right. You got a little more connected, I think.
Hmm. A
And it
little more and a
changed
little less.
a little more and a little less. That's right.
Yeah.
A little less in person because most auditions and stuff now are just tapes. You're sending in the tapes.
Honestly, I'm not mad about that.
Well, it gives you control.
You have so much more control. You like the level of memorized that sides have to be to run them in your bedroom with your friend is a very different level of memorized than sides have to be when you add on the element of anxiety
Being in
and
front of
like
a person or a table or whatever.
exactly. And I mean, that alone saves you a lot of time. And then, yeah, you have the control. You pick your take, you watch it and you go, that wasn't
Right.
right. Like there's enough times that I'll
Do you have a rule? Like, do you have a rule like 3 takes? That's all.
no, no.
Yeah. So you just go till you're satisfied with it. It
Yes.
can take a while.
It can take a while. There are like, with projects that I'm either more passionate about or that I feel like I have a better chance of getting, I'll be more nitpicky about
Yeah.
it because I like really want to get it right. And there are times, like with The Last of Us, actually, I did that tape. We had the whole session, whatever, hung up. I was editing it and I was like, it's not right. We have to go back. Like I just,
Well, you must have been correct because you got the role.
yeah. And if, thank God I did, because I knew we hadn't gotten it. And so then I had to call someone else to be like, hey, can you just jump in on this? And like, I need to redo this, real quick. But yeah, you can kind of, it gives you the power to like clock things
Right.
that
I mean,
if you
you
just get
lose
two
the
takes.
you don't have somebody redirecting you. You know, like if it's not quite right, they can't redirect you. So you lose that piece. But for me, I'd rather do it on my own.
But what you get then is like typically, if it's a big enough role, they're doing callbacks. So that's
Right.
when you get to go in the room. Now you've already proven yourself. They liked something about you enough to bring you back. And
Does
so
that help with the
now,
nerves when it's a callback?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you just get to play, and they liked what you did the first time enough, and now we're just going in to do the redirects. And if you mess up a line, if have to go back,
Right.
if things happen, the stakes feel different because it's not about that, you know?
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
about being present in the room with the reader and showing them that you can do a redirect and, just giving them different colors of the scene. And so it does take the pressure off a lot for me, at least I
Yeah, I
find.
never thought of that, but yeah, of course it does because they already like you,
Yeah,
so that helps.
totally.
Yeah, as long as you don't go and just fall on your face, you're probably fine.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Well,
you
no, I
always
thank
hope
you
that
for
doesn't
taking
happen.
some time. This has been great. You
Yeah,
have to come back.
absolutely. I mean, we were discussing before we started recording. I would love to come to West Virginia.
You know, you come to West Virginia, and we're doing it in person.
Absolutely.
We'll go like rafting,
Oh my gosh.
and then interview after.
An interview
Maybe
in the
before. We
woods,
might be tired
perhaps?
after. Maybe before.
Maybe is the interview on the raft?
Ooh. If you strap me into the boat, then I might be able to do it. Because I'll
Okay.
at some point I'm going to get distracted and I'm out of the boat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you fish at all?
No,
Okay.
but I used to go. My best friend, you know, he went on a fishing trip every year with 40, 50 guys going, and I would go all the
That's a
time.
lot of people
Oh, it's
fishing.
so big, and they had a camp that was set up like they had a stove and a refrigerator outdoors, just under a
Wow.
cover, and then everybody camped. And I would go and just sit next to him while he fished. So if you want to fish, I'll go.
I do. I
Just
do want to
yeah,
fish. I've
I don't know. I'll hand you drinks or something. It'll be
you
fine.
pass me worms.
I could do the worms. Well,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm big chicken. I'll hand you the bucket. You pick your own one.
All right. All right.
But I'll go. I'm in.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've,
yeah.
I've decided fishing is my thing for this year, for the
Fishing's
summer. Hmm.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it and West Virginia, so many great places to fish.
Yeah. So I'm going to come to you very skilled.
Okay, all right. You better come for a few days because we got a full agenda.
Well, listen, I'm not coming all the way to West Virginia for one day.
Well, you wouldn't have any jet lag. The time zone's the same.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
We'll hang.
Yeah, it's done. You just tell me when. We'll do it.
Sounds good.
So, but before I let you go,
Yeah.
couple little things.
Okay.
Anything else that you're working on outside The Last of Us that we can kind of keep an eye out for? Well,
Excuse me.
Jenny in
Well,
Georgia, I guess, is coming next month.
it is, yeah. Not that I'm working on currently, but that I mean, your comic book following may be interested to follow. I don't know how familiar you are with Canadian comics, but I'm in Sookie and Lee's film, Paying for It, which is based on graphic novel by Chester Brown, which is very, very iconic here. It's a very big cultural gem.
I know I haven't read that one, but I know that one because my son shares my love, for comic
Oh,
books,
nice.
and he had a copy of that one at the library, so he's read.
Oh,
It. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, he
cool.
says it's great. So
Yeah.
so you're in the adaptation.
Yeah, so I'm in the film of it, and actually, Chester Brown made a like a new edition where he
Yeah.
animated or drew all of the actors. Yeah, so there is a version
Oh, I'm looking it
where
up.
there's an illustration of me, yeah, which is pretty cool. That feels like something,
That's
somebody
one
made a
step
cartoon of you.
away from having an action figure.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Because if it becomes a big hit, comic books, we love action figures, so there you go.
That's true. Yeah, well, maybe that's the next step on the horizon.
When's that one coming out?
That one's out.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
out.
know how it's on Mubi here, but I'm not certain about how you can watch it in the
Yeah, yeah.
States.
I'll look it up. I may just have to come to Toronto just to watch some stuff.
Listen, yeah, it's summer's the time to come.
I know I've always heard it's a great food town too.
It's an excellent food town. It's the vibe in the summer is always on because we have such a long and claustrophobic winter.
Yes.
So from like June to August, like it's a 24-hour party. Like
Okay.
everyone is out all the time. There's events happening everywhere at any hour. It's like people
Well,
are
that
out on
sounds
the
fun.
streets. The energy is tangible.
Okay. All right. All
Mhm.
right. We'll trade. I'll come to Toronto. You come to West
Perfect.
Virginia. Now,
Yeah.
preferably we stay in our locations till the other one leaves. We don't
Right.
want to go at the same time. We'll miss each other.
Right. Yeah, we're not
No, yeah,
room swapping.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So last thing, where can we find you on social media?
Just on Instagram at Noah Noah dot Lamanna Lamanna.
Yeah, it came right up. I had no trouble
Yeah.
finding
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no.
nabbed that handle.
Well, yeah, and that's not easy to do. It only takes one jerk out there to grab it, and it never fails. It's always somebody that doesn't do anything with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think without the dot, there is an account like that there's just like nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing
It just
there.
makes you so mad. Well, no, please come back. This has been so much fun.
Yeah,
And
it's been
best of luck.
awesome.
I think you're so talented. I can't
Well,
wait to
thank
see what you
you.
get into next.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been fun. Okay,
Yeah, this
hold
has
on
been
one
wonderful.
second. How great is Noah? I mean, they're amazing and just the best person. I had the best time. Big fan of Noah's. So hope you enjoyed that. I know you're watching The Last of Us. They are terrific on there. Although Cat, in my opinion, not treated correctly. We need justice for Cat. I think that's what I'm going with. Justice for Cat. They're also terrific on Jenny and Georgia, according to my wife. I will catch that up before season 3 comes out. She's convinced me I need to be watching that one. Beacon 23, terrific as well. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to. I definitely wanted to mention American Gods and the Umbrella Academy. So I think we touched on all of that. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're finding us for the first time, so glad that you're here. Would love to have your support. It's free. Very easy to do. We don't ask for any money. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. Doesn't cost you a dime. Gives you access to. See, today we're putting out episode 966. So you got plenty to watch on there. YouTube, MeisterCon Pod. Check us out. Our website's meistercon.com. You can find all 966 and counting episodes, audio and video versions on the website. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, say to Toronto, if we're covering a convention. I should ask Noah if they have had an opportunity to do a convention off of The Last of Us. If they haven't, they definitely should. The fans are just terrific. I love the convention scene. But if we're doing one of those, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.